Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Dojo Live. This is the recap show, and that can only mean one thing. It's Monday again, and today is Monday, May 9th, 2022. This is Tulio Sergusa broadcasting from Southern California, and joining me are America Guerrero in Mexico City and Atlantis in Hermosillo, Mexico. Hi, guys. Welcome back.
Hi, Tulio.
We had a bit of a full week last week. We spoke with three guests, actually four guests. With one show, we had a dynamic duo on it. But we had three interviews last week, three live interviews. We spoke with Joe Gagnon, who is the CEO at One Up Health, about transforming healthcare data. And then we also spoke with Morgan Howell, who is the founder and CTO at Stock Alarm, democratizing financial markets with accessible tooling. And finally, we had a design thinking show on Thursday morning with Anshu Sharma and Amruta Moktali, CEO and co-founder and chief product officer, respectively, at Skyflow. And we talked with them about how privacy by design powers innovation. So really good conversation, learned a lot. I love interviewing these CEOs and CTOs because we're learning what's going on and new trends. They're setting the pace for the future of technology. So it's really awesome to learn from them. So if you've missed any of these shows and you want to check out what's happening in the industry, what emerging technologies are shaping the future, you got to check out dojo.live. The URL, dojo.live, it's that simple. And you can even click on add to your calendar. There's an add to your calendar function when you see a show coming up. You can just add it to your calendar automatically. Puts a reminder when to tune in. So anyway, enough of the little commercial about Dojo. Let's talk about the shows.
Yeah, coming up soon, Dojo Live's how-to series.
What did you guys think of these three shows? What are your thoughts?
I was on one show with Morgan Howell. I think that he has this incredible energy. His background is very impressive. And I think that his personality aligns with the product that Stock Alarm provides. I mean, he has this vibe, and he mentioned sharing information. That is one of their main values, building confidence, how to have deeper integration, how to research. I really liked his attitude. Yes. What about you guys?
Well, I mean, the one thing I love about any company that uses the word democratizing
of course,
is that they're actually making accessible to everyone what was usually reserved for only a select few. And that's the key thing, right? In financial markets, the institutional investors spend significant amount of dollars. I mean, $25,000 per seat to license a technology is not uncommon for institutional investors to pay that kind of money to gain access to insights, real-time insights that the regular, day traders don't have, right?
Yeah. So the rich get to stay rich, and the rest hope to be lucky.
There's no sharing.
Well, I don't know that it was intentionally set up that way, but that's kind of how it's been set up, right? So now you have technology that empowers regular traders like you and I, who might do it as a side hustle or do it full time. I know people who day trade full time. That's how they make a living. They're not licensed brokers, right? But now you have tools that are normally accessible only to licensed brokers, et cetera, available at your fingertip that allows you to make better decisions. So it's awesome seeing technologies like this that change the dynamics of what people can do and provides opportunities for people as well.
Yeah, I think it's interesting when I haven't done the stats on this, but I'm pretty sure that at least on our show, if you would do a keyword search of democratizing or something of that sort, you would find that most of these CEOs are pretty young people. So not always. I think there's some, trailblazers of the past who have bought into this, but I think it's really interesting to see what that trend is going to look like for the future of technology, because it really seems to be the way that things are going and how they'll have to go. So I think that's interesting.
Well, I mean, that's the beauty of technology. That's the promise, is to make more available to more people. And that's ultimately the end goal, right? So what about the other shows? What did you guys think of?
Joe Gagnon, I really enjoyed his show with One Up Health. I think not only what they're doing, one of those trailblazers who actually See, more than One Up Health, which I think is fantastic, Joe himself was an inspiration to me. I think he really talked about wanting to find two things as a professional. I think that's his purpose and then also his legacy, which I thought was great, which had a lot to do with him now starting up with One Up Health in the first place. Some place that really kind of needs help, needs to be fixed and be able to have an impact on a large number of people. And where they're really stepping in with FHIR, which I learned for the first time. It's FHIR, it's not FHIR, and that's Fast Healthcare Interoperability Resources, something that's actually surprisingly getting implemented by the government first before it's in the private sector, but that private sector is going to have to jump on the bandwagon for. And I guess that's really what One Up Health is there to help. So it's really interesting just to see how they're really on the forefront of what's happening there. And then Joe himself, like I said, an inspiration. I think one of his quotes, I'm not sure if it was his direct quote or if it's a quote that he likes, but he said something about both quitting and pushing forward are painful, right? So you might as well keep going.
And changing what it's possible, I think. I remember.
He's like a hardcore athlete too. So talking about pushing the limits, pushing the limits too. Again, this is another example of transforming accessibility, making things better for all of us. It's fascinating to continue to see how some of these technologies will enable more collaboration. And that's the end goal. I mean, we went from closed gardens, keep your information, IP is power, and compete, to there's plenty to go around for everyone. So maybe we ought to open it up and kind of create better services at the same time, add to the pie instead of competing for slices of it. And I think that's a great example of what One Up Health is doing. That's going to basically expand the pie, if you will, make more opportunities for everybody. All right, let's continue on. I'm not sure if you guys checked out the show with Skyflow. This is the second time we had Anshu on with us. I really enjoyed talking with them. That was probably to date one of the best design thinking shows I've done. I just found it really inspiring, the way they think about things and the way they put a lot of intentionality behind what they've done. And there were some key things that came out of that. The power of really listening, listening to what people have to say, and not just listening, but reading between the lines, right? And that requires empathy to understand what someone is saying, what they're really trying to say. And it's an art, so there's value in that. And then we, talked a great deal about being curious, having people that are curious. Don't go in with an idea, a narrative that you're trying to validate, but go in with curiosity. Listening with curiosity is different than just listening to try to fit into a narrative. And a lot of companies fail at this. Don't go in with what you think the markets need. Go in to be curious and listen and validate and adapt. And taking risks, calculated risks, rewarding that. All these things are prime example of leveraging empathy and emotional intelligence to design better products, better cultural environments. And these guys really exemplify this. I would say it was probably a 30-minute masterclass on how to apply strategies for design thinking across the organization. So if you've missed that show, check it out. It was that good. Not because I was interviewing them, because they were great guests.
And also, how by listening, you can educate. I mean, she mentioned that sometimes there are clients that they don't know that they are going to need a data privacy thing. Sometimes you need to tell them that they need that so they can improve their process. I really enjoyed the conversation as well.
That was actually the thing that I took to heart the most as well, the education within the category. And it's a really good show that's full of lots of very easy to digest examples as well. So I found, like always, I find examples to be really useful.
We hope a lot more of them. So what do we got coming up this week? I think we have one show this week. It's funny. Looked through July, but this week was kind of a weird week.
Yeah, we're kind of having a dry spell, but that's okay. We do have one show for Wednesday afternoon at 12 o'clock Pacific with Raj Singh, who is with Pulse. So keep your eye on social media and our website to figure out more details, and we'll share them with you about what that show will be.
See you back on Wednesday for the live show, but we'll probably have a restream tomorrow, so enjoy that. Take care.